July 4th of 2010, my husband was called to a fire at an egg farm. Thomas's body was recovered 9 hours later.
The family of a deceased firefighter is now battling his wife in court because they say the woman he married is actually a man.
Warden firefighter Thomas Araguz died July 4th battling a fire. Now there's a battle in court as his family tries to keep the woman he married away from his assets. According to these court documents, the firefighter's wife, Nikki Araguz, was born a boy. The firefighter's mother is trying to have the marriage between Thomas and Nikki declared legally void. So all of his benefits will go to his two sons from a previous marriage.
Because in Texas, under Texas law, whether it's the state constitution or the Texas family code, you cannot have a same-sex marriage.
And attorneys for the firefighter's parents say that they're not sure if Nikki Araguz had the sex-changed operation, but even if she did, they say Texas law still considers a transgender person the sex they were at birth.
I feel so much better about this today. Even though nothing really will happen, it's not like I'll win today. I win something today. It's just like a little battle in this big war.
Hello there, welcome back.
Thank you, thank you.
Good to see you.
Hi, Bruce. Thank you. Thanks.
Hello.
Hi, honey.
Good to see you.
You too.
As always.
You too. Oh my goodness. So what a freaking great job, by the way, you guys, for including me and everything, and all of the motion and the talking points were really interesting. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen.
If we don't get to start over now, then it's pretty much an inevitable conclusion that the Court of Appeals will send it back and say start over.
Okay.
So it's really a judicial economy argument more than anything substantive. So it's still going to go up on appeal, but we just would like for it to only go up once.
Right.
And that's actually easier for the judge to agree with us today because he's not agreeing with our substantive arguments, just the procedural
Exactly.
arguments. And but what that also does is gives us the opportunity. Gives us the opportunity to re-argue your case, including additional points that might not have been as strenuously asserted as we would assert if we had the chance again.
Okay.
So.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. How are you? Hi, Charles. You too. Salute. Hi, Jeremy.
Hi, fellas.
Hello, Nikki.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm okay.
Even if the worst happens where the judge just says, I deny the motion, it's no problem. You don't need to respond or say anything. We'll just proceed with the appeal. So
Okay.
just wanted you to know.
Okay, let's go meet this judge.
Yeah. There's my phone.
Make sure that's off, doesn't go off from during court.
Thank you. It's fucking bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. Fucking bullshit! Fucking fucks! Fucking shithole town! No, I mean, no. This is fucking bullshit. You know, he's fucking an idiot. I hope they enjoyed the fucking show. You know, it was my fucking husband. You should be ashamed of yourselves. I'm sorry, but you know what?
Don't do it, Nikki. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
It's not fair.
Don't do it.
Right. We still have to present the different. You're better than that.
You should be ashamed of yourself. Especially you, Frank. Shame is what you should be wearing. I just was holding it as long as I could, and I had to get out of there. I'm sorry. I wanted to explode way before then, and I really held it as best I could. I'm sorry. You know?
No, I think he gave it his best shot. I think the judge is doing what he thinks is correct. And that's why we have appellate courts, and that's why we have appellate lawyers.
I just don't understand how anyone can think that this is okay. You know?
Well,
how that guy can sit up there and think that this is okay.
Well, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean that he thinks it's okay
That's a
as an
good point.
individual. A trial judge
That's a
really
good point.
feels bound to follow what superior courts have said, right? And right now we know what other courts have said. And so, you know, he probably feels somewhat bound by that regardless of what he personally believes.
Seems like a very, very nice judge,
Yeah.
competent judge, and
He was extremely courteous afterwards and came and talked with
Yeah.
us. And so he really feels like he's following what Texas law is, which is what he's supposed to do. So I know that's...
Texas law sucks. So let's change it, you guys.
There's a fire starting in my heart, reaching a fever pitch, and it's bringing me out the dark. Finally, I can see you crystal clear. Go ahead and sell me out, and I'll lay your ship bare. See, I'll leave with every piece of you. Don't underestimate the things that I will do. There's a fire starting in my heart, reaching a fever pitch, and it's bringing me out.
Hi, Anthony. Nikki Araguz.
Hi.
I'm the transsexual widow of the fallen firefighter Thomas Araguz out of Orange County on the 4th of July last year.
Were you trying to catch up with Senator Davis?
I'm trying to find out the position on Senate Bill 723.
Okay.
And because in support of me, she will oppose it. It's a direct attack on me by Senator Williams.
Okay.
And it would be just devastated if you lost your spouse in a tragic way, and then all of a sudden some of your civil rights and liberties were being stripped away as a result of who you are. And so please convey that to her. Thank you, gentlemen.
I know, it's just like...
Good job.
I think I got down.
You're making me cry every time. So, I love you. Having just met you.
I mean, it's really just the truth, you know. I'm walking through this, but I'm really... My husband's just, you know...
Yeah, but the deal is, Nikki, you're not walking through it alone.
I'm not.
So that's the...
Yeah, so I'm wondering why this bill, Senator Williams is attacking me like this, and 8 months after I lost my husband in the line of duty. Just as if you were married and your husband died and all of a sudden someone said, you don't deserve anything and your marriage doesn't count.
Well, it's what we're trying to do with this bill is to create or remove the ambiguity that's in law right now. The problem is with how the law was written and passed in the previous session, along with our Constitution and our higher court decisions, it's creating a lot of gray area with our county clerks, and that's the biggest issue. Some county clerks are issuing marriage licenses and some aren't. And even they're the ones that are having a problem with this. We need it to be the same across the state. We can't.
Well, that's why it's already the same across the state. Essentially, what that means is that transsexual and intersex women like myself who have had genital reconstructive surgery would still not be allowed to marry their heterosexual male partners. They would be only allowed to marry a female. So that would essentially make for gay marriage in Texas, essentially. And that's not what we're looking at here. What I'm talking about is a heterosexual marriage between an intersexed person and a regular sexed person.
What do we want? 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 What do we want?
Somebody said it best. We need to share our stories. You've got to share your story. With me is a passionate woman. You've seen her in the media, you've seen her in the press recently. Last year, her husband, Captain Thomas Araguz, a firefighter from Wharton, lost his life fighting a fire. This is Thomas's wife, Nikki Araguz.
Right over there in the front behind all of you is the memorial with my husband's name on it. And I was excluded from him being honored at that memorial by the state of Texas. And now they're trying to steal my marriage from me as well in the wake of my husband's death, and I refuse to allow it to happen. And it's because of all of you that I'm having the courage and the strength to continue to go to court and to continue to fight in front of the media and for everyone, for you and for me. And I just want to thank Megan. I want to thank you all so much. And I really miss my husband, and I'm just so grateful. Thank you.
What do we want? Equality! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Equality! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Equality! When do we want it? Now! Thank you. Get out, stand up, and be proud.
I don't care. I don't fucking care. Nobody cares. Megan, just a second.
Oh, baby.
I fucking lost. I lost, and nobody was here. Now my parents weren't here. My lawyers aren't here. Nobody was here, and I lost. All right?
I love you. Nikki, I love everything that we have. I love our life together. The kids love you. You complete us. I love what we've built. I love what we've created. I love going to sleep with you every night. I don't ever want those nights to end. I love waking up to you, and I want to wake up to you for the rest of my life. Miss Nikki Araguz-Loyd, I love you.
Oh, I love you, baby, yes. You are so crazy. That is insane. I'm excited to marry you, Will, and I'm proud that you're strong enough to make this stand and statement with me.
You're welcome. Congratulations. Give me just a minute, okay?
Congratulations.
Hi, how are you? I'm Nikki Araguz, and this is my fiance, William Lloyd.
Pleasure.
Nice to meet y'all.
So I'm the transgender widow of the firefighter, so I'm sort of infamous for being, for my marriage and marriages. And so I brought with me all of the documents that the family code requires, one of which is proof of sex change, which is what you're looking at now.
Yes, ma'am. Just wanted to make sure that here's your.
Let's use this one.
Okay.
I want to use.
Don't know that this would be an identification that we would accept.
It, according to your family
And
code.
it may be because I'm not familiar with that.
Right.
Let me ask.
Because no one else has brought one to you before.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. And we all learn something new
That's
every
why
day.
I'm setting a precedent with it.
I
so.
got you. I'm with you. Let me ask the supervisor to come look at this document and see if this is the identification is acceptable, and then she'll know more than I do.
I love you, baby.
We are currently waiting on our administrator.
Okay. Great.
So I'll just leave these here.
Wonderful. Nice to meet you.
William Lloyd.
Hey.
Pleasure.
Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to issue this. I mean, you know, the constitutional amendment that's on the books in Texas.
I could have come in here with these documents, and you would have issued me a marriage license. What constitutional amendment erases that family code? What constitutional amendment, Mr. Stannard, erases the 2009 family code that specifically says that you can use a documentation of sex change as a form of identification to receive a marriage license? Tell me what constitutional amendment supersedes that.
All right. I don't have the specifics in front of me. All I've known is I've gone to the county attorney, and we'll go to the Texas Attorney General, and we'll get an opinion. So unfortunately, that's all I can do today, but I'm sorry.
Well, be prepared to be answering a lot of questions.
Well, I
and
understand.
shame on you. Shame on you and shame on your office for denying this. And because it's in the family code, and how dare you say that my marriage doesn't count and that we won't be entering into another one. Look, let's go to the courthouse on Shepherd. We'll just go in and do it simple. Okay, so now in the process of this, we're now being told we're not going to be able to be issued a license. Great. Thank you. Right before she issued it, the county clerk, Stan, whatever his name is, called down and flagged us in the system to not issue a license to us.
One thing that I hold tried and true is something that your partner does or something that your partner's dealing with, that needs to become a part of you, and that needs to become something that you do and that you're just as committed to. And so I've enjoyed, the fact that she didn't have to go through it alone, that she had me and the children right there supporting her.
He's got a shirt.
You wear clothes in bed. Crazy. I was a mom without a family, and they were a family without a mom. And so it was a real connection for all four of us. These people make me nicer, I mean, it's true, because I was very angry and very hurt and felt very alone, and they healed that within me.
Everything that I ever wanted, waking up to nothing less than everything that I ever.
This is the day that I get to have my say in court. But either way, it's going to be a day that I get to join my fiance, William Lloyd, and my family in a legal marriage. And we're doing it so publicly and so outrageously and outspokenly so that we can really make a difference. We're fighting for the millions of people who want to be respected, who want their love recognized.
And I'm grateful that these two individuals are going forth, risking what they now have to something even greater. You do not even know what's before you. I give thanks and you give thanks that your struggle will now be your struggle, and your struggle will now be your struggle. But the great thing is, two is better than one, two is stronger than one. And so, dear God, we bless these rings, knowing that whoever wears them will be blessed. May the witness of the wearing of these rings show folks everywhere that love should not have to be defended, that love is always present. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I give thanks for these two individuals, and I want to present to you Mr. William Lloyd and Mrs. Nikki Araguz-Loyd, married today in the state of Texas. You may kiss your bride.
Yesterday I sent my lawyers a message and I said, I am ready for a good old-fashioned protest on this court. When are they going to rule? And honestly, this morning when I woke up and I saw the email from my lawyer, one of my amazing lawyers, I thought, oh, well, it's just another calm down, we have to wait. And it wasn't. It said, we won all of our legal arguments, we won. And without the help of my legal team, I would not be celebrating this victory today. But it is for the other transgendered people in this country that didn't have a voice. And I could not say how painful so many of the last few years were, but I'm so thankful that it was all for a purpose. And today we see transgendered people able to have recognized relationships and marriages in the state of Texas. In sum, we hold that Texas law recognizes that an individual who has had a sex change is eligible to marry a person of the opposite sex.
Make no mistake, this was a huge victory for that widow, but keep in mind this is just one step in a very long legal fight.
This court vacates its judgment and enters the following judgment. Having considered the motion for summary judgment, the court concludes that the motion for summary judgment has merit and should be granted. Accordingly, Thomas was legally married to Nikki, and Nikki was the legal spouse of Thomas on the date of his death. And with one little piece of paper, 5.5 years and hundreds of thousands of dollars, and comes to an end.